welcome to the commentary box, Fergus Mainland. And you're joining us at the start of the Ireland Challenge Cup. Newcastle University A on the left-hand side of your screen versus Oxford University A on the right-hand side of your screen.
It's great to be here, Jess, and I think we've got a right Bobby Dazzler on our hands in this race. I think Newcastle and Oxford University, two absolute stalwarts of the university rowing scene, tearing it up for their boat race for Oxford University, and for Newcastle, top form, winning Championship 8s at Bucks Regatta. And I know this Oxford crew, you know, it brings together an amalgamation of some of their blue boat athletes, 6 of them combining with 3 of the Osiris crew. Lost to Cambridge, so they'll be hoping to bounce back and have a cracking campaign here in the Ireland Challenge Cup.
You'll see a slightly different line out here. Certainly a couple of rowers have moved from the Oxford blue boat and moved back into the national team, but a very strong outfit. They'll have rowed together all year, gone through that formational kind of hard moment of racing the boat race and having their heads probably a little bit down after that race, and now they're here at Henley to give it a crack. But right now Newcastle looking strong on the Berkshire station.
Yeah, they are. Newcastle so impressive this season, led by Alex Lee. As I said, Championship 8s winners at Bucks Regatta, then had a crack at Championship 8s at Henley Women's Regatta. And I think this crew have just been going from strength to strength. You know, finalists last year in this event, there are 2 changes though from that crew. Holly Youde won the Under-23 World Championships, which makes her ineligible for this. She steps up to race in the bridge with Molesey Boat Club. And we've also got Lucy Weber bumping up from the second 8, who made the final of Academic 8s at Henley Women's. And it's a formidable outfit, this one.
Yeah, so what happens is through the year all these people are competing against each other, and you know, right up to the last moment, Fergus, you can change seats. If you're performing better than someone else and a coach thinks I can strengthen that boat, it might well happen, and it's paying off for Newcastle right now. Yeah,
it certainly is. And you know, if you look at some of the times that we had through the racing yesterday, Newcastle just leading out Oxford to the barrier about 3 seconds quicker, so it's no surprise to see them out in front at the moment. So a good amount of clear water, and I think for everyone looking on, there'll be huge support from the bankers. There so often is with Newcastle, but I think across the university as well, across the sports centre, across the director of sport, the vice chancellor, I'm sure they'll be watching on with huge pride in their university programme, because they're one of the top sports at the university.
A little bit of pride coming out of you there, Fergus, as well, as your Blue Star blazer hangs over the chair behind us. Lovely start and strong through the middle. They're just past the Forley. This Newcastle crew looking tidy, confident, sitting a length up, but you've really got to stick it in here in this middle part of the race to make sure you move away and close that door.
Yeah, you absolutely do. And I think for Oxford University in this point in the race, you know, it's now or never. We've seen positions where crews have come from behind. We've seen some almighty sprints. But if they're going to go, Oxford have got to start winding it up. And, you know, this Oxford University programme are on a bit of a resurgence this year. You know, difficult race in the boat race against Cambridge this year, but you feel the tide is turning, momentum is starting to shift at Oxford University. Alan French has come in, and, you know, all reports on the ground is that he's doing a tremendous job with the squad. And I think it's brilliant to have that progression, that continuation from Oxford going right the way through the season and having a crack, same as Cambridge at the Island and other events.
Oxford keeping that distance not too far. They've not kind of snapped the elastic band between those boats as of yet. But Newcastle there, sitting a length up through the Remnant. See the bow seat there, Lucy Thompson. She row as a junior at Royal Chester, but the crew are looking strong. They're looking loose, not breathing too heavily. Their cox is going to be telling them now, keep doing it, because this race is not over yet.
No, it's certainly not, and I think Oxford are really making Newcastle work. I think that start from the Blue Star was terrific. To get themselves out in front, it's right where you want to be, and they're in the position where they can control the race at this point. But you know, we can see the pain on the face of some of those athletes there in Oxford. They're working hard. They've had to expend a lot of energy to stay in contention in the middle stages. But Newcastle aren't moving away at this point. Oxford are still hanging on in there. But you know, as we've said, if they're going to move, if they're going to start moving down the stern of Newcastle, they've got to step on and kick into action.
Yeah, this isn't the full blue boat. The 6 returners from the blue boat that you watched that race between Putney and Mortlake in April. But they're strong units, so this is going to give Newcastle so much confidence stepping through the weekend if they can keep doing the business along the enclosures here. Look at that shot, the drone just shows you the synchronization of that boat. These rowers are going absolutely flat out, but the presence of mind to keep the timing, to keep it tidy. Oxford though, a little push there. I think they're back to 1 length.
Yeah, back within contact for Oxford. I think that's a really important move for them to be making. You know, we can see them from our commentary position just starting to come through the enclosures now. But again, that position that Newcastle were in, just able to respond to that, able to bounce back, and again, maybe just stretch that out to clear water again over Oxford University. And it's consistency, Jess. I just think the ability that they've had 6 athletes returning from last year's finalist crew, that time that they spent together, almost 2 seasons together, is phenomenal to be able to have.
Maybe some of that hurt and the pain of losing here at Henley Royal Regatta has driven this crew through the season for moments like this. Their cocks will be willing them through these last few 100 metres, telling their crew, we're making the weekend, keep that pressure on, hold off everything Oxford are throwing at you, and you're through to Saturday. And the Blue Star of Newcastle University can enjoy these closing stages in the Ireland Challenge Cup as they go past the progress boards. Oxford is still ramping it up.
Yeah, they are. Oxford certainly not going down without a fight. You know, they're used to this match racing, this one-on-one style with the boat race, but here they are coming up against this Newcastle University outfit. Top form from them, and yeah, looking to progress through.
They listen for the beep and they cross that finish line, and some whoops from the floating grandstand. That was a strong performance, a dominant performance by Newcastle University A, and that's a win in the Ireland over Oxford University A in the student women's eights.